Yeah, for the best part, I thought well, in the conditions that we played a lot of good football. But we've got to give Cambridge a lot of credit there. In the last 10, 12 minutes of the game, I think we were hanging on a little bit. They threw everything at us. But there's a lot of resolve and character and guts and determination to hang on to the lead. And yeah, through the course of the game, we played a lot of good football. We created a number of chances. It was nip and tuck there, really, but we were delighted with the result, obviously.
They were better than us. That was the major thing today. They probably played it more like a cup tie than what we did. We didn't really get into the game. We started slowly. We got ourselves back into it by a goal by Tom Youngs, but even then we didn't really take it on from there. If the word be content and comfortable to maybe take them back to the Abbey Stadium, and we haven't, and it's caught us out without doubt.
The two Johns, who scored?
Well, I'll claim it, to be honest, but
it came off my heel.
he near got in the way, to be honest.
It looked from our pictures like it was going in anyway from you, and you couldn't get out of the way.
No, I couldn't get out of the way. No, I couldn't. It just hit me. So I'll give it to John. John can have it.
He's a gentleman.
You can have it, son. It's on me.
So you're part of a Morecambe side that's through to the third round of the Cup for the second time in the club's history. The draw is tomorrow. Anyone you'd like particularly?
I think we're just like one of the big boys, really, one of the Premier League clubs. Apart from that, we're not bothered, really. If we can get a big boy, that'd be really nice for Morecambe.
I know that this is nothing but stepping stone, and I think this will long be forgotten, or quickly forgotten, because I think this club can go on to better things quite soon.
Who would you like in round 3?
Everton. At Goodison.
You'd love Arsenal, wouldn't you, having started your English career there?
That would be a nice one for me, yeah. I'd be quite happy to go there. But I know in my household they're all Man United supporters, so if we could get them, that would be even better.
How you feel. Anyway, well done, Morecambe. In fact, you did so well, we spared you the wrath of Hanson. Right, who else made it into the third round draw? Let's find out, starting with Chester v Oxford.
Chester City were hoping to show that they were still alive and well despite relegation from the Nationwide League last year. But against Oxford, things didn't start at all well. Oxford's opener from Phil Gray wasn't exactly what you describe as a cultured finish, more roly-poly than polish, but they all count. Their second had a little more finesse about it. It came just 2 minutes later. Matt Murphy on the end of Joey Beecham's cross. But then came a clue as to why Oxford are struggling, fully 7 points adrift at the foot of the second division. Paul Beasley headed Chester back in it. And yes, he was over the moon about it. Chester weren't finished, far from it. Their equaliser, courtesy of Steve Whitehall. Eventually. There, told you so. The Diva Stadium braced itself for a grandstand finish. And they got it too. Whitehall again, with a hint of shin and deflection. Oxford left distinctly blue.
Poor Lincoln goalkeeper Matthew Gent. It was his full debut. He'd had a great game. In fact, he'd just been voted man of the match when a minute from time he allowed Mark Janney's shot to slip through his legs and over the line.
Won't be winning goal of the season or well, that's for sure, but I don't know, I just got it, tried to get it on my decent foot, which is my right foot, didn't catch it at all. Turned around, wasn't happy with the shot, and then I see it creep over the line, and obviously just delighted when I see the linesman flag that it had gone in, and well, you see the celebrations.
Uncharted territory now for Jeff Chappell's Kingstonian. They're through to the third round for the first time. A towering header from Mark Harris setting them on their way. And when Jeff Pitcher unleashed a spectacular second, the K's were feeling, well, rather special. But fellow conference side Southport nearly made a fight of it when Dino Marmria pulled a goal back, but Kingstonian held on.
Not quite a pot of gold, but certainly a pot boiler of a cup tie in Northwich. Fans fairly at fever pitch as Leyton Orient came to town. In fairness to all, this AXA-sponsored FA Cup tie didn't let them down. Carl Griffith settling any early Orient nerves with a splendid volley. A good thing he'd practiced his celebrations this week. Griffiths was at it again just after the break. Nice goal. The celebrations this time more mundane. Just a minute later, though, Northwich came to life. Confusion in the Orient defences. Gary Fletcher pouncing with a good old-fashioned toe poke. With less than half an hour to go, the conference side levelled it. Fletcher again with a lovely finish this time. And the same player was instrumental in completing the Northwich comeback, cutting the ball back this time for Adi Mikey to put Vix 3-2 ahead. But just as the scribes were penning a giant-killing story for the morning papers, Orient forced a late rewrite. Chris Tate squeezing his shot home to set up a replay. The locals left the shuffle home just a little bit miffed.
It could have been an embarrassing day for Bristol City. After all, they trailed the conference side at half-time after a mistake by City keeper Steve Phillips. It was still a clean finish by Darren Collins for the goal, though. His first goal since a £25,000 move from Rushton and Diamonds. But in the second half, Bristol City scored 3 times. Lee Peacock never gave up for the first of them. And Simon Clist showed some quality for the second, with a deft touch, as well as a bit of room to do it in. The move to round 3 was completed 6 minutes from full-time by Tony Thorpe. Thorpe's had a wonderful season so far. This was his 13th goal, and it put paid to another non-league dream.
After their first round heroics against Stoke, Nuneaton arrived at Dean Court full of hope and expectation. They left empty-handed, but with no complaints about the quality of Bournemouth's finishing, Richard Hughes setting the tone on 34 minutes. Their second arrived just after half-time, and it was another blistering effort. Wade Elliott weaving his magic for the Cherries from the edge of the area. Now, you've all heard the expression kicking someone up into the air. Well, here's an example. Courtesy of Nuneaton's David Crowley. His reward, a red card. And to add insult to the non-leaguers' injury, the second division side rounded off an impressive display with a third just before the final whistle. Irish substitute Gareth O'Connor celebrating with a jig of delight.
Gateshead put aside the stress and strain of life in the Unibond League for a big FA Cup trip to Swindon. They may soon have wished they hadn't. Keith O'Halloran was chief spoilsport, but what a goal. To be fair, Gateshead didn't roll over. It took Swindon until the second half to add to their lead. O'Halloran completing a fine double. Still, Gateshead didn't crumble. They still only trailed 2-0 with 6 minutes to go, but then it all went horribly wrong. First, substitute Steve Cow nodded in at the near post. Then Bobby Howe made it 4-0. If only Swindon had a Brown among their scorers. They didn't. Instead, it was left to Cow to wrap up the 5-0 win with his second. Fair to say, afterwards, he milked the applause.
This was 0-0 at half-time, but 7 minutes into the second half, it was York 0, Reading 2. First, Ricky Newman curled in a free kick. And shortly afterwards, it looked like being a safe passage for Reading when Martin Butler put away a cross from Matt Robinson. But then York fought back. After 56 minutes, Alex Matthey made room cleverly inside the area and laid it back to the club's top scorer, David McNiven. Matthey, meanwhile, was to do even better before the end. The Scotsman turned neatly again, 35 yards out, and crashed in the equaliser off the underside of the bar. York played the final moments with 10 men. Kevin Hume had already been booked before he lunged into Adrian Vivash. Vivash was still receiving treatment when Hume was sent off. For the record, York defender Darren Edmondson also missed a sitter from 2 yards out. It's a replay.
Cheltenham have produced a few shocks in their time, and this opener from Russell Milton caused a few shockwaves around Ninian Park. There followed what can loosely be described as a Gloucestershire roll. Back came Cardiff with Robert Earnshaw outpacing the Cheltenham defence. Then a cruel deflection further deflated Cheltenham. Kevin Evans' shot hitting Chris Banks en route to the net. With Cheltenham down to 10 men after Allsop sending off, their fate was sealed when Paul Brayson was sent sprawling in the box. Earnshaw pocketed his 15th goal of the season at a leisurely pace to lift Welsh spirits and send the scorer into acrobatic ecstasy.
Now this was a cup tie with quite a sting in the tail, more of which in a moment. It had a pretty thunderous opening too. Peter Morrison striking a post, Steve Torpey in exactly the right place for the rebound. Albion's response was positive and swift. Just 9 minutes on, Paul Watson found room on the right, then found striker Bobby Zamora on his toes, 1-1. Scunthorpe are known as the Iron, and they showed a steely determination, rewarded when teenager Gareth Sheldon headed them into the third round. Clearly not just any old Irons then. But the drama wasn't quite done. Injury time saw a player from each side sent off. Brighton's goalscorer Bobby Zamora followed soon after by Scunthorpe's Bjarni Larison. Some people will do anything to get to the showers first.
In their 114-year history, Kidderminster have only reached the FA Cup third round once, and that record remains. Carlisle beat them with a goal in each half. First from Gordon Connolly, and after the break from Scott Doby. It's the first time Carlisle have made it through to the third round for 4 seasons.
Oh, the FA Cup. Tales of triumph over adversity, trials and tribulations and terrible own goals. Northampton were the victims of another one. Alan Lee's centre seemed innocuous enough, but Gary Hughes' clearance ended in tears. Lee and Rotherham embarrassed rather than ecstatic.
Feetham's not the place to be if it was goals you were after today, but there were chances, and this was probably the best of them. Gary Hemsworth's excellent drive, matched by Nathan Abbey's full stretch save. So it's all back to Luton's place for another get-together on Tuesday week.
Ivan Gaskell and Ian Payne joining Sue and Steve on the late shift. Well, one thing's for sure, there's nothing quite like the FA Cup for generating excitement, emotion, and on occasions complete fantasy. Good night.
Kit off for David Gower. You have been warned.
Well, they left it late, but Gary Dirty's injury time winner has taken Tottenham through to the 4th round of the FA Cup, his second goal of a very good week from his personal point of view. Let's get some reaction from Brisbane Road, starting with the Leyton Orient manager Tommy Taylor, who's just nothing to lose at home to Dagenham and Redbridge of the conference, enjoying their best ever run in the FA Cup, and this game had just about everything. Chances for Charlton early on. Martin Pringle had a couple of efforts for them. You wouldn't have given Dagenham and Redbridge any hope at all before this one, would you?
No, Charlton's home record, you'd have thought this was going to be a clear victory for Charlton. And we were following this game all afternoon, and like I'm sure all neutrals wanting the underdogs to win, and it was such an impressive performance by them. It really was incredible. But exactly what this stage of the Cup is all about.
Well, that was the goal. Janney's cross, and Junior McDougall, their leading scorer, in the right place at the right time.
Great crossing, great finish. And really, the marking there, you have to be a bit questionable there, but still, good movement by the team. Did very well to get 1-0 up, and of course, we're now thinking that it really could be on. The upset could be here today that nobody would expect.
Well, it's 15 years since a non-league side won at a First Division or a Premiership ground, as is now the case. There's the equaliser, a little bit of a deflection. Salako gets the credit.
I mean, shame. A small deflection, and still the keeper's gone down. He nearly got it with his legs to keep it out. But what a way to not lose the game, but from their point of view, 4 minutes from the end of the match. And I'm sure they thought they were on their way to a great victory.
Well, Charlton might have won it in the closing stages, another effort.
But they won't relish going down to...
They won't. I suppose in a way it's the perfect result for Dagenham and Redbridge. They now get all the money from a replay and still every possibility of causing the upset.
A great result, and I'm sure they'll be looking forward to it very much. It'll be a very interesting game, that one.
And plenty of mutual admiration from the supporters and the players. Of course, the Dagenham and Redbridge manager Gary Hill is a big Spurs fan. He's still got a chance maybe of getting his side paired with Tottenham in the 4th round. Some game that would be.
I'm sure Gary would look forward to that one.
OK. Well, talking of Tottenham, their North London neighbours.
So, no Premier League casualties.
Dazzling and intense. That takes care of me and that I can trust. But most of all, rich. Really rich.
Colour Riche lipstick from L'Oreal. Rich in colour from dazzling to delicate. Rich in moisture with a conditioning formula and won't feather into fine lines. Colour Riche from L'Oreal. Brilliant moisturising colour that lasts.
It's got it all. Because we're worth it.
So how do you usually blow it?
There's a question. Yeah, you know, I've been looking all over for you. What's up? Up the wall on there, the bar's shopper.
Sorry, babe, you're going to have to cope on your own.
Why? I'm meeting someone. Well, can't you cancel? There's only me and Quiet Paul in. No can do.
Sounds serious.
It is. So start working your magic. I need to look my best today.
Oh, thanks for the lift.
Don't mention it.
Not that it was worth going to for that. Accidental death. I've never heard anything like it in my life. She was murdered.
Can we just get inside?
And you should be going to the papers, love. That's what I'd do.
Thanks for the advice.
Yeah, and if you're looking for someone to back you up, I know who I think the murderer was.
I'll keep that in mind.
See ya. Have a nice day.
Why the hell did you offer her a lift?
I didn't. She just got in.
Having to listen to her spout her stupid theories. As if this hasn't been stressful enough.
Hiya. Hi. Put the kettle on. What are you up to?
Writing down my version of the Leanne Powell story.
I tell you what, one day someone's going to give that little cow a comeuppance, and I just hope I'm there to see it. Darren's been onto the Family Practitioners Committee. Apparently there hasn't been a complaint. Oh, really? Well, good.
Give her time. She's probably just making me sweat.
Where is everything?
Well, everywhere, really. I haven't had a chance to sort things out.
Yes, I suppose it's only been 3 months.
Thanks for coming today. It was much appreciated.
I came because Susanna was my sister, not to offer you support.
Look, I'd like to apologise for what happened at the funeral.
Like I told you, it's best forgotten.
I know, but, well, can we please get on? Because, well, your family, Harry and Emma's aunt, can we be friends again?
We've never been friends.
Can we start trying?
Stevenage Borough came so close to embarrassing Newcastle United 3 years ago. Likewise, Dagenham and Redbridge at Charlton Athletics' expense 3 weeks ago. Junior McDougall's goal looked like being enough for the conference team at the Valley before John Salako popped up with a deflected equaliser in the closing stages. That set up today's 3rd round replay at Victoria Road. The home team determined to make the most of their opportunity. For Alan Kirbishley and Charlton, a very awkward assignment in unknown territory. Coming up, extended highlights of a game that's had the East End of London buzzing in expectation for some time, and there had to be a winner, if necessary, after extra time and penalties. Dagenham and Redbridge were one of 2 non-league teams still able to dream the impossible dream at the start of play today. Kingstonian were the other. 18 Premiership teams, 10 First Division clubs, 3 from the Second and 1 Third Division outfit made up the numbers. And we have the pick of the action over the next hour and a half. We're at Ellen Road for the big all-Premiership battle between Leeds United and Liverpool, who, having but 1 cup final appearance this week, were keen to taste more success. Sunderland and Ipswich have both enjoyed excellent seasons up to now, and they went head-to-head at the Stadium of Light. And we'll catch up on last year's beaten finalists Aston Villa. They were at home to Leicester City, who've reached the FA Cup final 4 times, but never won it. And that is just a taster of what to come. Here to make sense of it all is Newcastle defender Warren Barton, who in his younger days played for Leytonstone Ilford before the team changed its name to Dagenham and Redbridge. And we start at Victoria Road in the second instalment of DNR against Charlton. The non-league side came so close to beating the Addicts at the Valley. Could they make home advantage count second time around? Commentary from Brian Marwood and Martin Tyler.
It's the same starting 11 that did Dagenham and Redbridge proud at the Valley. They do have a former Premiership goalkeeper in Tony Roberts, who spent 11 years with Queen's Park Rangers. Most of the others have had a taste of full-time football before filtering down into the non-league scene. Paul Terry was a trainee at Charlton. Lee Goodwin and Danny Shipp were at West Ham, and Steve Heffer also has the Hammers in his blood. His father Paul played some first-team football at Upton Park. And bearing in mind the prize for the winners today, in particular are Mark Janney and Junior McDougall, who both served apprenticeships with Spurs.
Well, Dagenham and Redbridge certainly came within a minute of causing such a major upset in the game at the Valley, but they'll go into this game 4-4-2. They'll have plenty of confidence from that game. They'll know that they can take on Charlton Athletics and play well against them, but they really have to maintain the structure of this side. It's a very difficult playing surface out there. It's very heavy, it's very sandy, but they play with 4-4-2, and they'll need to keep that structure, certainly in midfield and the back, and they really look to try and utilise the pace of McDougall. 9 goals this season, and also Danny Shipp. 2 of them certainly can cause Charlton plenty of problems.
It's a horses for courses approach by Alan Kirbishley. Foreigners like Kishishev, and for the first time all season, Klaus Jensen are left out. Steve Brown and Sean Newton on the right of the team are deemed the right men for this type of occasion. And Andy Todd is moved forward to give some steel in midfield. Charlton's substitute saviour 3 weeks ago, John Solako, is rewarded with a start today. Charlton are short of strikers. Bartlett's on international duty. Hunt, Johansson, Pringle and Mendonca all unfit. So it's Matt Svensson and Kevin Lisby up front.
Well, Alan Kirbishley certainly gone for a side that will really come here and do a job. He's hoping that they will dig in. They'll show a lot of grit and determination, because Dagenham will put them under a lot of pressure. The back four looks very strong, very effective. Steve Brown right back, Fish commanding centre-half alongside Richard Rufus, and the youngster Paul Konchesky, who's come into this side and really is making the left-back berth his own. Across the midfield, Andy Todd will look to protect the back four, of course been playing as a centre-half in recent weeks. Sean Newton will provide width on the right-hand side. Solako wide on the left, with Graham Stewart trying to prompt him from midfield, and as that prompting, he'll try and join up with the front two. Svensson will look to get the ball into his feet and really try and release Kevin Lisby. Lisby with a lot of pace, and pace hopefully that will trouble a Dagenham and Redbridge back four.
There's a great sense of anticipation, a contest that contains many of the elements that have made the FA Cup such compulsive viewing. Charlton a change trip today. They do have a tie-up with Inter of Milan, and it's shirts of black and blue stripes that are associated with that Serie A side that Charlton are wearing today. Crowd of around 5,500 crammed into the Victoria Road ground, and here's McDougall. Shipp with a shot that's blocked. Gary Hill, the Dagenham manager, pointing out the importance of the opening 20 minutes here. If Charlton can get into their stride quickly in very different circumstances to what Premiership players are used to, well then maybe they will triumph, as so many other Premiership sides have done. 15 out of 15 in round 3. McDougall, he and Shipp were excellent in the first game. And that's Janney!
Well, that's a wonderful opportunity, and Janney really reaping the dividends of just taking a gamble, Martin, because when that ball went wide left, it was a super little set-up play by McDougall. He really did play Broom in exceptionally well, and Broom's left foot delivery. Konchesky slips at the far post, and I don't think really Janney realised in the end how much time he had. It was a wonderful play by McDougall. What a great first-time delivery into the box, inviting Janney to get on the edge of it. I tell you what, if that was on target, I'm not too certain Keeley would have got there.
Goodwin's clearance. Steve Brown, old Charlton stalwart, decides to let it run out of play. Alan Kirbishley and his coaching staff have tried to get the right sort of characters to play in this game, as well as the right sort of talent. Feeling that that some of the foreigners now in the Charlton books don't know quite what the FA Cup is all about. Andy Todd does, though, and he has a speculative effort.
Well, it's quite interesting, really, because Andy Todd is almost just trying to protect his back four, but he's getting an opportunity there to strike on goal.
No Premiership side has been knocked out by a non-league club, but of course teams from the old First Division have been dumped in the past, the most recent being Sutton United's elimination of Coventry City in the third round back in 1989. And there's a connection with that match here today in the presence of Steve Sedgley, once of Coventry. Salako, Lisby. That's Heffer using the length in the leg to good effect. McDougall, supported by Paul Terry, who chases on here, the former Charlton trainee. And he went to block the clearance, but he might just have followed into Dean Kiley.
Well, he just took a gamble, Martin. Really, Charlton almost creating their own problems, and it was in the shape of Mark Fish. He really didn't deal with a back pass effectively, and that is a high tackle. He followed through, and Dean Kiley just going to clear the ball. Excellent play again from McDougall, just backing into Rufus. It's always difficult for a defender because once you raise your arms and you get close to an attacker, the referees are always looking to favour the striker, and that's what he's done.
It's Matthews. Oh, and it's crossed. Not quite, I think, what they had in mind, but because of Charlton's positioning, Dagenham are really able to get bodies into the goal area.
Tell you what, just look at the room that McDougall has there. Really, Charlton had elected to try and defend almost to their goal line, and as that ball was scuffed, just look at McDougall there, better contact.
McDougall. Forcing his way down the outside and checking back to get the cross in towards Paul Terry. Charlton won't be too happy with that. It looked as though McDougall was heavily outnumbered. Back by Heffer. Here's Shipp. Is it going to drop for Danny Shipp? It is! And Kiley probably grateful that the shot didn't carry more sting, but once again, Dagenham and Redbridge from the conference on the front foot against the Premiership side.
Well, it's a brilliant piece of sustained play. Initially from the corner, then they get another opportunity. That's a very good save.
Charlton have pulled everyone back. Terry to take the corner. Oh, and it's skirted away under Goodwin's foot. And my goodness, Charlton are finding defending at Dagenham a difficult proposition.
Well, just look at Goodwin. He doesn't really believe it's going to come to him, and then it does right at the end. And he's just got to be a matter of inches away there. Charlton are very fortunate, living dangerously.
The pressure on the Premiership side. And they're relieved by Alan Wiley's whistle.
Well, in their anxiety to really keep that pressure on, causing their own problems, but wonderful delivery from either the right and the left-hand side.
And it's Gianni here. Flipped forward by Cole, McDougall, and Mark Fish all over it.
Well, that's another example, Martin. As that ball came in, it's a quality ball. You know, you talked earlier about how well Dagenham Redbridge want to play, but once again, superb set-up play, and Mark Fish can have no complaints. He's just gone into the back of Junior Dougal.
Oh, a whisker away, and it just flicked off the wall as well. From Lee Matthews.
Well, it's a good strike, but I think it's the connection with Andy Todd on the edge of the wall. There you can see, and that was very close to diverting that past Dean Kiley.
just has to look away from the ball there as some of this frustration that Charlton are feeling.
Well, there's a lot of bodies in there, and it's been that sort of competitive game. There you can see Svensson, of course, involved in an incident with Nigel Winterburn, very similar vein on Monday night, and he has kicked out at Jason Broom, and you can rightly understand the frustration of Broom, and he's reacted.
Now, it'll be interesting to see whether they're judged equally here. Svensson will say that he's been provoked. He's got a yellow card. And one can only assume that Broom's going to get the same punishment. Svensson was retaliating, but doing it in a manner which I think if the referee had a clear view of it, he might well have been off.
Well, I think I feel a bit sorry for Jason Broom because he actually ended up on the floor, and I think that it wasn't his doing really that he got caught up in it.
What a spiky character, the Swede, Matt Svensson, with a rather checkered disciplinary past. Brown varying the delivery into the feet of Newton. Brown's done well to get it across. Rufus setting it up for Todd. Well, it's come all the way across, and Solako is able to keep it in. Charlton still well represented in the centre. Todd.
Well, it was a fantastic setup from Andy Todd on the edge of the box, you know, because he really could have struck at goal, but he decided to play a super little ball in. Just look at that, great composure. He wasn't offside, Lisby. He really did scuff his shot. But that was about the best opportunity that Charlton have had in this first half, because it's a first half that really has been dominated by the home team.
Svensson doesn't quite get there though. Broom turned away from trouble. Forward from Matthews. McDougall not sure where it was dropping. It went Brown's way. And here is a chance for Kevin Lisby. And it's parried away by Roberts. Now Lisby is quick, he's an incisive runner, but there is one aspect about his play that Charlton would like to improve, and that's his finishing.
Well, really, it's about the goalkeeper. I think, to be fair to Lisby, he's done everything right, Martin. He stayed cool, he stayed composed. It's the first time he's really got in behind this back four, and when he had the opportunity, the keeper stood up well.
Charlton's ball. Solako. This is Brown. Oh, and it should have been for Lisby. He's let Dagenham Redbridge really off the hook there. Kevin Lisby, from very close range, should have really bulged the net. And here's Janney. Goodwin. McDougall going to the centre with Terry in there as well.
Oh, what an opportunity. Absolutely superb. I thought Solako, you know, would have a hand in whatever Charlton will do from a striking point of view. Set Brown up superbly well. As this ball came across, just look at Roberts though. He starts at the near post, Martin, and very nearly saves it at the far post. And that's great experience, but that's great athleticism. What a wonderful save that is, because as this ball came in, just look at his position. Gets across superbly well. Lisby's almost turning, thinking he scored.
Just fed forward by Heffer, but down the wrong channel for Terry. And Paul Terry could easily have found himself in the book for that.
Well, he's going to have to be careful. We talked about the competitive nature of Paul Terry, but that tackle from behind on Richard Rufus.
It's allied to the one that left Dean Kiley needing a strapping. He has put himself about,
as they say. What you're going to say, he's covered every blade of grass, but I guess it's every ounce of sand.
Every grain of sand, yeah. Touch from Lisby. It's half-time here at Dagenham. Time for Kevin Lisby to reflect on two opportunities but two excellent saves by the former Queen's Park Rangers goalkeeper and Welsh international Tony Roberts. But apart from that, Dagenham have played really well with Shipp and McDougall very much to the fore, as they were in the first game, with some excellent forward play. The sun certainly hasn't set on this one yet. At half-time, it's 0-0.
Yeah, goalless at the interval. Later in the programme, we've action from the fourth round, including the games at Elland Road, Villa Park and the Stadium of Light. But after the break, the second half of Dagenham and Redbridge in this FA Cup special. Welcome back to this FA Cup special. Still to come, the highlights from a number of today's fourth round ties, including another notable 90 minutes for the Kingstonian manager Jeff Chappell. But it's back to our main feature now, the third round replay between Dagenham and Redbridge and Charlton, 0-0 at half time. Let's rejoin Brian Marwood and Martin Tyler.
On the evidence of 45 minutes here, the gap between the Premiership and the Conference is a narrow one. But this is the FA Cup, which can bridge those sorts of divides. Dagenham and Redbridge will have been reminded by Gary Hill that they must keep doing what they did well at the Valley for 90 minutes and have done well for 45 minutes here. Difference is today it has to be finished this afternoon. Extra time and penalties available if required. Terry's got some room and he can drive on here, and he's taken the shot early. Just bounced in front of Kylie, which made it awkward. It wasn't a hit with blistering power.
Well, it wasn't so much the power, it's what they did in the air, really. And as he takes a first touch, just really look at the ball. It goes, it dips, and Kylie had an awful, difficult time to claim it in the end.
Svensson. Here's Salako. Flick it on for Konchesky. Jani got back, as he has done when needed. Now Fish. Almost beached there, Richard Rufus. Svensson. Shipp chasing. Did he get to Brown as well? Newton's kept it in.
He doesn't give you a minute's rest, Danny Shipp, and he just had a little tug and a push. It's Steve Brown, the Charlton Athletic right back. He's put himself around to great effect. All of this back four have known that he's been around all afternoon.
Just reminded not to get involved himself by referee Wiley. Steve Brown with the free kick. Cleared by Jani. McDougall, for once, not able to hold it up. Salako. Lisby getting into his territory, really. He's needed in the middle, maybe, but Charlton have got plenty in there, and it comes to Lisby. Well, there was a little flick back to Graham Stewart. Stewart's really furious with his much younger colleague that wasn't appreciated, Stewart's position there.
Well, I think Lisby's just lacking a little bit of confidence, really, Martin. He's made, or had two opportunities in the first 45 minutes that he squandered, and he didn't really look as if he was going to go at the Dagenham centre-halves with any real conviction.
Shipp. Goodwin shaping for a longish throw, although two of his teammates have offered shorter options, like McDougall. Back for Goodwin. Newton defending well. Good win again. Flag's gone up against Shipp. Referee hasn't seen it, has now.
Well, it must have been close. It must have been close because Shipp had looked to have made a very good run, but there was a claim for a penalty at the other end of the field, and as Charlton are trying to go forward, there's a real claim there. I don't think that there certainly was contact with hand, but it would have been a harsh penalty for the referee to give. It was more ball to hand rather than hand to ball, Martin.
Ashley Vickers, who was the defender involved. Oh, Svensson, goalkeeper's got to come. He didn't get to the ball, but he did enough to put Svensson off.
Well, it was a half a chance, wasn't it, for the Swede, and he almost fashioned it all by himself. Very clever little black flick, but the goalkeeper again being very alert to the situation. When he's needed Tony Roberts, he's been absolutely spot on.
Terry, good football again from the Conference Club. Broom to try and sweep it in there, yelling for handball against Konchesky.
He might have had a very good claim indeed, you know, but the referee's assistant was looking right at it. But as this cross came in, there's the hand that goes up, and that certainly looked a handball to me.
Speculative effort from Jones, and it's led to a Dagenham corner. Salako seems to be okay. John Salako's late goal that spared Charlton's blushes at the Valley 3 weeks ago now. Into the latter stages of 90 minutes here. Dagenham and Redbridge forced their way in front. In the crush, Matthews, but that was Lisby who did well with the header.
Once again though, Martin, the quality of the set piece has been outstanding from Dagenham, and it's mainly been in the shape of Jason Broom, but that time it was a substitute, Matt Jones, again firing a ball in that near post.
Oh, and it's so nearly it. If one of those just drops the right way, so McDougall or a Shipp.
He's not happy because he thought there was a foul there by Fish, and he went straight away to the referee claiming that Fish was just chugging away at his back.
McDougall to take the corner himself. Cleared by Stewart. Back by Broom to McDougall, who got back well to stay onside. Broom again, Jones for Vickers. Touch by McDougall. Shipp! Oh, so close for Danny Shipp.
But once again, Martin, the build-up is absolutely superb. They kept the ball for 3 or 4 passes, and once Shipp got into the box, he turned superbly well. And once he had a little sighter, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. It's an excellent first touch off his thigh. Whew, that is whiskers away, isn't it? But just look at the turn and the strike on goal.
McDonald, Konchesky. Oh, got that line right at the back again.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It really is. They've been together right through the afternoon. We've talked about the surface, it is energy sapping, but this back four is so well organised.
They've beaten Hendon in the 4th qualifying round. That was an away win. Hayes, fellow side from the conference in the 1st round proper, then the win at Lincoln. And here they are, still locked in mighty battle with Charlton Athletic. As this 3rd round tie still is no nearer being concluded. Certainly not on the scoreline. Of course, in terms of time, it has to be. With 10 minutes plus stoppage time of the 90 remaining, and well, extra time looming larger with each passing minute.
certainly shown no signs of any tiredness, have they, Dagenham? And I think that Gary Hill clearly has prepared them extremely well, and he's urging them, just keep going, get at them, because you've caused them bags of problems.
Get at them and you can be in the history books. There's pressure on Todd. Stewart just gets it wide to Brown, tucks it on to Newton, who skipped away from Vickers this time but couldn't quite carry the ball on in his first stride. Matthews. Stewart. And Graham Stewart has come as close at that end as Shipp did at the other just minutes earlier.
Well, he hasn't had too many opportunities, has he, Graham Stewart, just to prompt off the front two, but that time his ability came to the fore, and that isn't far away. And as well as Roberts has played, I don't think he would have reached that, Martin.
Salaka, Newton. Well, we're beyond the 3 minutes that were expected to be added on. Konchesky. There's some concern here for Ashley Vickers, who was certainly caught probably by a couple of studs as he made that last challenge on the edge of his own area.
Gary Hill will be getting to train his thoughts now on that extra time, because tactically now he's just got to perhaps work out something a little bit different.
Extra time it is. It's another feather in the cap really of Dagenham and Redbridge, because it goes into another half an hour here against Alan Kirbishley's Charlton Athletic from the Premiership after 0-0 after 90 minutes. Charlton start extra time. Brown. Jones. Now Fish. Headed by Goodwin. Stewart. Curling one from Salako. Oh, a bit of hesitation. And Sean Newton has scored in the first minute of extra time for Charlton Athletic. One of the players that Alan Kirbishley has brought in specially for this game. It's not started in the first team for some 4 months. And here he is, pouncing at a priceless moment.
Well, he just takes a gamble, Martin, from the cross from Salako. It really almost just beats everybody. There's just the slightest of touches from Lisby that helps it on its way. But unfortunately the defenders were a little bit flat, went to sleep at the far post. It isn't a great angle to score from, but he certainly made full advantage of it.
Well, now it's an exercise in concentration for Charlton as they're having to defend the corner. Well, Kiley's lost it. Oh, and it's not going to count. It is deemed a foul on the goalkeeper. Oh, that's heartbreaking for the home supporters, many of whom were up in the air here thinking that this was 1-1.
Well, they've been hurt at both ends. I think it's Lee Goodwin's arm that may just have done the damage, enough to persuade the referee that it was a free kick, but those set pieces have troubled the Charlton defence and goalkeeper all afternoon.
Lisby. Oh, now you wonder whether there was a hand in there.
Well, the referee flagged straight away, didn't he? And Lisby very clever, really, with his little flick. And again, that is a clear handball. And that, I think, is a penalty. You've got to give it in occasions like that, because that's stopping the striker from a clear advantage on goal.
It's well read by Heffer. And now, this is a chance for Dagenham and Redbridge. Heffer. The shot from Shipp comes out to Janney. Well, he was inches wide with a header at that end of the ground right at the start of the game, and he's very near again. Well, near's not enough.
The pitch has done him a little bit, because as this ball was fired out, it came to him. That's when he wanted a better first touch, just to get out of his feet. He's trying to measure that into the top corner.
Stewart. McDonald, another who's come through the ranks at the Valley. A bit of blocking by Charlie McDonald. Salako! It'll come for Sean Newton. The angle's tight. Roberts not sure. Newton again. And again.
Well, I think it's actually Matt Jones that blocks that ball on the line, because I've got a feeling when Sean Newton did cut inside, this ball may well go through Tony Roberts' legs. And thankfully Matt Jones is there to get the ball away from danger. But what a great opportunity that was for Newton, the goal scorer.
Vickers, Cobb. That stayed in for Jones. Great cross on the run. Oh, and it was Goodwin who had a swipe at it. Terrific approach play by Dagenham and Redbridge again. Fish. McDougald.
Great defending, Martin. Great defending.
Out comes Kiley. Fine goalkeeping as well. Stewart. And that's appropriate in the circumstances. Well, that's a shame for Tony Roberts, because we are dealing in seconds here now. And here's Todd. To Stewart. This is running down the clock now for the Premiership team. Salako. McDonald. Stewart. Now Parker. Charlton have done it. Alan Kirbishley picked a team specifically for this game, and it's worked out. One of those he brought in, Sean Newton, settled it, but there's a handshake of real respect there that will mean a lot to Gary Hill, because his Dagenham and Redbridge team have been absolutely tremendous in 90 minutes at the Valley and 120 minutes here. They've represented the non-league game with great distinction, but they lost sight of Sean Newton in those early seconds of extra time, and that in the end was enough.
Well, two cup ties that Charlton will not forget for a very long time, but they go through to a fourth-round tie against Tottenham Hotspur. Tremendous performance, though, by Dagenham and Redbridge.
Yeah, that's right. That was outstanding. They're a credit to their manager, and their fans should be very proud of them. I mean, they was excellent today, and Charlton have got through, you know, and they'll be pleased, and you know, they can have a good night's sleep tonight, because it was a tough game.
It's extraordinary, though, when you look at a match like that and try and remember that's a Premiership team against a conference team.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we had the same problem with Stevenage 3 years ago. You know, it's unbelievable that they lift themselves for that game. But you know, at the end of the day, Charlton have got through, and that's what they've had to do. But as I said, the manager would be disappointed, Gary Hill, because obviously he's a big Spurs fan, and he would like to play against Spurs in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, you mentioned Gary Hill. We can hear from him now. He had this to say after the match.
Gary, you must be very proud. Can you feel that pride even in this moment of defeat?
Yes, I always turn around and said when we drew Charlton in the third round that if we could turn around and gain respect, win a lot of friends, show the country what my players can play like, and my staff, and in respect of the work they put in, and the supporters for getting behind us, I couldn't ask for no more. And you know, I had that at the Valley, and I think a lot of people turned around and thought, well, they've missed their chance, and you know, Charlton have come here and finished the job comfortably. But you know, I think that again today we've won a lot of friends, and superb game of football, typical cup football, as we know, heavy pitch out there, end-to-end stuff. I felt that, you know, there was times in the game when it was swinging one end and back to the other, and always believed that we could get something out of the game and go on and win it.
Alan, congratulations, your 500th game in charge of Charlton, and it went on a long time, longer than you wanted, I guess.
Yeah, but you know, great credit to Dagenham. We knew it was in for a game. You know, I think it has been said, because we played them last time, perhaps we know a little bit more about them. Well, we did, and we knew we was in for a game. And as soon as we got here this afternoon and saw the pitch as well, you know, it's a great leveller. And I think Dagenham can take all the credit from the match today.
A narrow escape for Alan and his Alex. I suppose on another day, it would have been Dagenham and Redbridge celebrating. They certainly had the opportunities early on, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. They had a lot of good chances, you know, and early on they put the pressure on there, you know, with the tackles flying around. I mean, this is a good chance, you know. It's a great ball in, and it's unfortunately he's not made a bit more of a better connection. And here, he's tried a little flick there. But as I said, it was all Dagenham in the first half, and that they put them under a lot of pressure. As Brian Marwood said, the set pieces was excellent, and there again a little bit of hesitation.
maybe a little bit of belief.
Lee Matthews with that free kick. They just wanted that little bit of luck, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they deserved it, but you know, at the end of the day, they've got their goal at the end there. But they worked ever so hard, and like the manager said, they deserve all the credit. And it's probably surprising to him how they can't do that week in, week out. But as I said, a lot of credit for non-league because they work hard. The players, they don't get as much credit as they deserve, and it's nice to see my old team doing well.
Yeah, Charlton had their moments. Kevin Lisby might have scored a couple of times before the Premiership team did finally go in front. Perhaps earlier in the season he would have taken these opportunities, Warren.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's I think they sounded Todd there having the shot there, and it was a bit unfortunate. But you know, he's took a chance here and he's got on to the end of it. And like I said, maybe, but I think the goalkeeper done ever so well. Maybe at the beginning of the season he would have tucked that away. He's had a few injuries and not been in the team, but it's a great save. Let's give him a bit of credit. This is probably the best chance of the match. You know, he's got half a connection on it, but you've got to say that the goalkeeper was fantastic.
That wasn't a bad effort. I suppose, to be fair to him, he's played 11 years at Queen's Park Rangers and played for Wales as well, but that was something.
Yeah, it was a great save. You know, as I said, he's adjusted his feet well and got a strong hand to it as well. But you know, I think the striker would have thought, well, you know, tuck this away 1-0. But the keeper's done ever so well to get himself out of a difficult situation there.
Something of a sucker blow for Dagenham and Redbridge to concede the goal as they did just a minute into the extra time.
Yeah, that's right. They'd be disappointed because obviously the manager would have told them to, you know, be switched on and, you know, concentrate. So, you know, a ball thrown in there. As I said, slight hesitation there, but to be honest with Sean Newton, it's only his first start in I think 4 months. It's a great finish. I'm pleased for him because he works hard for Charlton. He's an up and down merchant, does ever so well, and it's a good finish because again the goalkeeper's made it difficult. You know, John Salako there doing what he's good at, you know, putting the ball into a dangerous area. And tucked it away. There'll be a big sigh of relief from Charlton there because it's a difficult place to go to.
Disallowed goal shortly afterwards. Again, it could have been a very different story if the officials had well, not been on their side, but perhaps been just a little more generous. Let's have another look at this one.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, everybody wants them to get a goal. It would have been great for them to get a goal, but I think we're being honest, it is a foul. But you know, he's put it away, and you know, they can have no arguments for that. It was a foul, but. Everybody would have liked them to score a goal because it's great for them to get a bit of publicity and a bit of credit, as I said, that they deserve. But
tell us a little bit about your time at the club.
Yeah, well, I got released from Leighton Orient saying that I was too small, and I was lucky enough that they was training at the bottom of our road. At that time it was Leytonstone Ilford, and people like John Steele and Ted Harding, I owe a lot of credit to them and a lot of respect to them because they've given me a chance there. I had 2 fabulous years, and if anything it made me from being a boy from a YTS being into a man, because when you walk into a change room and you've got a plumber, policeman, a BT worksman there, they soon put you into shape a little bit.
Have you kept in touch with anybody there?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen John Steele a few times and a couple of other players there. Steve Butler has now gone, obviously, to Leicester with Peter Taylor. So there's a few people that I've been involved with, so it's good.
And just going back to the point you were making at the start of the programme, of course, as a Newcastle player, you took on Stevenage Borough 3 years ago, and it was very difficult for you there. What is it when Premiership teams go to these lower grounds? Is there a fear factor, or is it simply that the other side raises their game to such a high standard?
I think it's a bit of both. Obviously, a Premier League team has got everything to lose. They've got nothing to gain. They go there, and also you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to go in the history books of being a team that got knocked out by a non-league team. And to them, it's their cup final. You know, they raise their game. You can see their level of fitness there. I mean, if they probably ask them to do that next Saturday, they'd probably all be getting cramped. But it just shows you what they can do if they really believe in themselves. And as I said, for Premier League teams, it's very difficult because everybody in the country wants you to get beat. For us, it was a real tough game. We tried to be nice, saying that we want to swap the game to our place, maybe get them a bit more money, and we got a bit of egg on our face with that one.
Well, Charlton go through. They've got Tottenham in the next round, and having battled and scraped against non-league opposition, they'll now fancy their chances at home to Spurs, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they had a good result, I think, at the beginning of the season against Spurs and that. So it's going to be a tough game because Jules Graham's got them organised. They got through a very difficult tie against Leighton Orient, so it's going to be a real tough game, and both teams will look at it and think, well, if we can get through this one, then they have got maybe a chance of obviously winning the cup or getting to the final.
Okay, well, one other third round replay today, it came at Meadow Lane, where Warren's old club Wimbledon took on